Just an announcement, I'm opening a Discord server at 5,000 subscribers. Make sure to turn on notifications to stay tuned for what's to come. Battle Cats is an amazing game. It's filled with features that really make it stand out within the mobile game industry. Its combination of cool characters, unique mechanics, and overall creativity makes its playstyle feel unique. But Battle Cats is missing something, and that is online gameplay. And in my opinion, online gameplay should be the future of Battle Cats. Now, something that I should mention is that Battle Cats already has an online system, to some extent. The catclaw dojo is a way for players to interact with each other to try and get the highest scores by defeating the most enemies in a set amount of time. However, this future of Battle Cats is extremely flawed. I won't go too far over this because I might want to make a video on this in the future, but just to give some examples. Why can't I see the names of the players I'm competing against? Why does it take so long to collect rewards? And most importantly, why don't I get cash when I defeat enemies? Like, hello? This mode could barely be described as player versus player interaction. Like, to be honest, if the players we were playing against were AI, I would probably never find out. What I mean by online gameplay is, actually interesting interactions. Now, there are so many ways that this could be added with an online system, so I'll just break down the 3 best features I think would revolutionize the game. Friends. Friends are something that you can find in almost every online game. Like, I really can't think of a popular online game that does not incorporate it because it's such a no-brainer to include. If you can get players to interact with other players, player engagement is usually higher. So this is how I see a friend system in Battle Cats working. Basic features, so a friend list, you can add, remove, and manage friends. You can see their profile, rank, and recent activity, like when they were last online. Friend requests, so players can send, accept, and decline friend requests if they wish. And they can also block and mute players if needed, which is something I think should be included in every game. Status and activity, show whether a friend is online, in battle, or inactive. And display the recent achievements or event participation. For example, you know those meow medals you never show to anyone because why are you showing somebody an offline game achievement? Now you can show them to other people more casually, sort of like a mini flex. And once you have friended your, friend, like maybe you can chat with them, or you can send them like emojis or something like that, or interact with them or ask them when they're getting online, just like a basic chat system that you see in almost every game. Perhaps you and your friend can do quests. Now, quests aren't something I'm going to talk about in this video, because that would make it a little bit too long, but I still think that maybe they're friend quests, maybe in like, I don't know any games that do this off the top of my head, but maybe there are like friend quests where you and your friend both have to do something, and once you both do it, you'll get a reward, which incentivizes both the players to get online, which is always a good thing for the game. Maybe you could even start like a group chat in a video game, like how you have group chats on Instagram or Snapchat, you can have a group chat in Battle Cats, which is something worth thinking about. Now, there are many other features that could be added with the friend system, but I don't want to talk too much about it because it overlaps with the next idea I have. Clans. So if you ever played any online game before, chances are you've probably seen a clan before, maybe you've even joined one, or maybe you even created one. And yeah, you can probably see why this would integrate well into Battle Cats. So here are just the basic rules for clans. So you're going to create or join a clan. Players can form their own clans or join existing ones. Maybe this costs XP. Probably I think it should cost cat food so that it's actually like a worthwhile investment to make. Maybe it can cost cat food XP and I don't know, maybe like a certain thing that you have to grind for. Maybe a new resource that you have to grind for, like clan tokens, something like that, There should be a member limit as well. Clans should have a max of maybe 100 players. I feel like that's a little too much. Probably a minimum of 20. I could see clans being anywhere from like 50 to 100. I think that's a good range. I think 100 is a little too much. I think 50 is a good solid number to stay around. Too many clan members and it becomes more of like a corporation, like a huge company, and too little it feels more like a group chat. So there should be roles in the clan. The leader, he'll manage the clan, approve members, and set battle strategies, which for clan wars, which we'll get into later briefly. Co-leader, he can help manage events and battles, so like he can just help organize, who's doing this, or get back online, and can promote and kick members if he chooses. Has almost the amount of power as a leader. Elders, these guys are basically just members but with a little bit more power. I mean, maybe they can promote people, or maybe they can suggest ideas to the leaders or something like that. And members who just participate in battles and just earn their rewards, just like good members. Now, if you've ever played any other games, maybe you've heard of a raid. Imagine you and your friend teaming up to go against a raid to beat a big boss, like a huge mega boss that your whole clan could team up to fight against. For example, maybe this boss has like 100 million HP and I go in, I do 1,000,000 damage and the boss destroys my base, and then it's somebody else's turn, he goes and does like 2,000,000 damage, and we slowly try to chip down the boss's HP until it's 0. Maybe beating it lets you win like a platinum ticket or something else of value, kind of like the old clan chest in Clash Royale. You don't even have to beat it, maybe you get rewarded based on the amount of damage you do to it, and maybe like beating it gives an extra bonus, like maybe you get a rare, super rare cat if you beat it, you know? And by super rare, I don't mean like a super rare, I mean like a really rare cat, you know what I mean? Like maybe a legend rare that's exclusive only to raids. Now, another thing that might be incorporated in clans, and I think should be incorporated, is trading. Imagine you really need this unit. Maybe it's a really rare Uber. You trade with your clanmates, maybe give them some less rare units so that you get what you need. Now, this could be troublesome as it could mess with the gacha aspect of the game. Like, imagine trading a legend rare for 3 commons. It's just not sustainable. And like, friends can just like, you know, maybe I'll give you $5 in real life if you give me this dark Casley for like a 2 common cat. So this could be a problem. But these problems could be mitigated by like making it so you only trade the units you already have or something like that. But this too may require balancing. I'm sure PONOS can think of something. And what about clan wars? Now, while other games have struggled to implement this well, I'm looking at you, Clash Royale, with your clan wars too. I'm sure Battle Cats can find a way to make it work. I don't really know how to think about clan war. Like maybe, I don't know, your top 5 ranking members go against somebody else's top 5 ranking members and then you battle it out, and whoever gets more wins gets a reward or something like that. Or maybe they all go in for a clan war, or maybe it's like a raid where you all battle this big boss and whoever does more damage to it, your clan or the other clan, gets the reward or something like that, you know? Maybe have these cool minigames exclusive for clans that other clans can fight each other for and earn rewards. Maybe there's even a clan league where you can get promoted and demoted, you know, like clan ladder. That'd be something really interesting. That'd incentivize all the players to get on, and for like the leaders in clan to kick those who are inactive and invite new active players, so that you can really boost the amount of players being active in your clan. Now, this could add a lot of engagement to your game. Like imagine all 50 of your clan members are active at once all the time. That could be very good for Battlecat's community. I can see it like skyrocketing just because of the clan feature alone. Now, I mentioned battles, and what I mean by battles is that it's a future so big, I think it deserves its own section. So let's continue. But before that, if you've been watching this far, you're probably enjoying the video. So be sure to like, subscribe, and comment any ideas you might have for a Battlecats online system. I'm sure you might have better ideas than me. Now, this is potentially the biggest part of any online system, and this would be huge in Battlecats as well. Let's discuss 1v1s. A Battlecats 1v1 system could introduce both real-time and turn-based battles, each offering its own unique strategic elements. In a real-time PvP mode, players would generate money over time, summoning units to push back their opponent's forces. Instead of facing the CPU enemies, both players would aim to destroy each other's bases while managing cooldowns and energy, much like the normal game. Certain units might have counterplay mechanics, dealing like extra damage to specific enemies, making unit selection a crucial part of the strategy. Variations like sudden death mode, where bases start at low HP, fog of war mode, which hides an opponent's cat until it goes past a certain point or something like that, could add excitement and unpredictability. Now, personally, I think this is how a Battlecats 1v1 should work. But there's another option, a turn-based 1v1 mode, which shifts the focus to strategy, allowing players to build a deck of maybe 10 to 15 cats before the match. Instead of real-time energy generation, each turn would provide limited summons points, forcing players to think carefully about which units to deploy. A unit placement grid could add an extra layer of strategy, similar to tactical RPGs, where positioning affects attack effectiveness, like maybe it's out of the range or something like that. Special abilities such as buffs, debuffs, or maybe like enemy sabotage could introduce more tactical deaths. Variants like draft mode, where players pick units from randomized selection before battle, or limited summons modes, where each cat has a set amount of uses per match, could offer fresh gameplay experiences. And going back to clans, maybe clans, they can have like friendly battles between friends, or during clan wars they can have 1v1s versus each other. Players could challenge each other to friendly battles to test out new strategies. A wager system could allow players to bet on XP or cat food in matches, adding a risk-reward element, and also increasing the amount of gambling in the game, which I know PONOS loves. And internal clan leaderboards can rank the best duelists, encouraging competitive play among members. And maybe in clan wars it can be like 5 best duelists versus the 5 worst duelists, or I don't know, the bottom 5 duelists versus the other bottom 5 duelists, or maybe just everybody goes fights like that, you know? Like, you could have ranks in your thing, and it'd be cool just to see who's like the most skilled in your clan. Now, there could also be special event-based 1v1 modes that could introduce additional challenges. For example, mirror matches would ensure both players use the exact same randomized units lineup, testing skill rather than team composition. Restricted unit battles would ban certain units like Ubers or maybe Legend Rares or maybe even a Common Cat to create a more balanced playing field. This could be similar to the limit stages we have already, you know, when it like says, oh, deploy from Road 2 only, or only special and rare cats, something like that, you know? Mutation mode could apply random effects such as double attack speed or permanent slow, making each match unpredictable and forcing players to adapt. You know, maybe like randomly or damage buff and all of a sudden your entire push is gone and now it's like a defensive buff, something like that. The 1v1 system could also include reward incentives to encourage participation. Win streak bonuses could grant additional XP and cat food for consecutive victories. A PvP ticket system would allow players to exchange battle rewards for exclusive unit skins and special PvP only cats. Now for skins I want to make another video on that, so we're not going to go into that today. But imagine you get a special cat that's only available by being this amount of people or something like that, you know? Now, I know what you might be thinking. There's a certain aspect of online play that I haven't talked about yet. And yes, that's what we're going to discuss now, ranked. A ranked ladder system can introduce competitive seasons where top players earn unique rewards, such as badges, frames, or even rare units. Maybe there's like a specific legend rare that's only exclusively available to like the top 100 players or something like that. Now, in my opinion, I think a 1v1 system should be real time. I think that's more faithful to the original game, and I feel like that'll just fit better into Battle Cats. Plus, I don't want the developers to have to go through all this process to make a new battle mechanic, you know? It's gonna be hard to create a turn-based RPG in a Battle Cats game, you know? Because I want Battle Cats to be more similar to like Bullet Chess than it is to like, you know, Bloons TD6, something like that, you know? The gameplay should stay simple and fast-paced, keeping familiar mechanics like energy generation, unit summoning, and base destruction, but with a ranking system that rewards skill, consistency, and adaptability. Players will be placed into ranked tiers, with wins increasing their rank and losses causing demotions. The system should also use a point-based ranking, similar to other competitive games. Now, this is just a side note, but I think it'd be cool if they could name their ranks after, you know, cat themes, since Battle Cats is a cat-themed game, so I'm just gonna say the names of things I think should be the names of the ranks from lowest to greatest. So at the very bottom, the absolute beginner that just started the game, the just newbie, the noob, whatever you want to call it, is Stray Kitten. New players are just starting out, they learn the basics of unit selection from battle mechanics. Now, I don't want to describe every single rank, but I'll just go through the names. After Stray Kitten, it should be House Cat, Tomcat, then Feral Cat, then Lionheart, which I think is a cool name, Flame Tiger, I took that from Demon Slayer, King Cat, Cat with 9 lives, Eternal Cat Emperor, and the final and highest rank, the Radiant, the Unreal, is the Battle Cat. Now, I don't know the names of the ranks or the numbers of, you know, how many wins you should get to this rank, but that's not really that important. I'm sure PONOS could figure that out, or maybe you could figure that out in the comment section below. Ranking up would be win-based, but players could earn extra points for performing well, such as dealing more damage, keeping their base HP high, or countering enemy units effectively. Maybe if you like kill a lot of units or like defend a lot of units, you get a boost. Likewise, losing wouldn't always mean losing a lot of ranking points if the player fought well against a much stronger opponent. Let's say a Tomcat plays somebody who's Cat of 9 lives rank. Maybe they wouldn't lose so much because, you know, it's kind of unreasonable for like somebody of that low rank to beat somebody that high rank, so maybe they'll lose less. Although this is probably only in friendly battles, because I'm sure the rank system, they should only place people with similar rank against each other. I think the rank system should be similar to the Valorant rank system, not all the problems that come with it, like the toxicity and there's just the annoying fan base, but just like where if you perform well, you win more and you lose less. Now for the actual battle mechanics, I think the battles themselves should function similarly to the main game. Players summon units using their sense, I'm gonna call it energy, although I know it's like money, I don't really know what to call it, which generates over time, and the goal is to push forward and destroy the enemy's base before they destroy yours. And of course, when they meet in the middle, they'll fight. Just in the original game, which I'll call story mode, you fight, and whoever destroys the other person's base wins. Maybe they could be snipers that can go over the cats, you know, or maybe there's like certain flying cats that can only interact with other flying cats or something like that, you know, like in Clash Royale. The main difference from the normal game would be the real-time PvP element, where both players deploy units simultaneously, reacting to each other's choices. I don't think there should be any extra mechanics like injuries or permanent losses, just skill-based combat and making sure a well-timed counter can turn the time of battle. I really do think that 1v1 should be kept simple, kind of like the game right now. Simple, easy to understand mechanics, but the complications arises from the interactions and unit choice, you know? Like, the game mechanics of Battle Cats itself are pretty simple when you think about it. Like, think about how easy it was to pick up the game when you started. I want it to be that way for rank 2. I want the real strategy to come from, you know, unit selection or like interactions or specific interactions, just knowledge of the game in general and knowing how to select your units and use them effectively. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Again, how would you incorporate traits into 1v1s? Now, just like story mode, traits would be a key part of strategy, making unit selection crucial. Instead of just picking the strongest cats, players would need to balance their lineup to handle multiple enemy types. Now, this is just my opinion, but I think battle cats, or should I say PONOS, should just assign traits to cats. Like, I don't want them to go through the whole process of coloring D'Artagnan red to make him red themed, you know? I think it should be just like assigned. Maybe it says above on their character head so you know which one it is, or maybe you just have to memorize it. This way, the developers don't have to go through all this time creating something that really is a waste of time. I know it might seem a little lame to just have their traits like that instead of like coloring them so that they match that trait, but I think this would save a lot of development time, a lot of stress, and just make the game a lot easier. Plus, a red D'Artagnan would look super ugly. The PvP system can handle traits as follows. Units with anti-trait abilities will play a major role. Picking a team that covers multiple traits can make the difference between winning and losing. For example, if a player brings too many anti-red units, they might struggle if their opponent focuses on floating or alien units instead. This ensures strategic variety without making the battles overly complicated. At the same time though, I don't really want there to be too many generalists in the game because I feel like generalists are okay in like the story mode where it's just you versus a computer. But if you're playing another opponent and people have something that counters every single unit you have, that can be really annoying. I want it to be more specific, maybe add like meat shields, or maybe not have focus too much on traits, because at the same time, even though traits are a core part of battle cats, I don't want it to be too random, you know? Like, I don't want it to feel more of a game of chance of who has the best traits and who has the best counter to traits. I want it to be more about skill, timing, and unit selection, but not too heavily emphasized on that, because that can be random online. Like, if you ever play Clash Royale, you know how it feels when somebody counters your deck completely and you feel like you can't win because, well, you can't. Anyway, moving on. Online can make a unit viable again. Like, imagine a unit, for example like a Nekaluga, is bad in one mode, which is what I'll call story mode. It can be redeemed in ranked as interactions change and its viability might change as well. Maybe there aren't that many long range snipers can do what this unit does, so he'll become viable again because there's a lack of units that can perform what he does so well. Also, I think it would be advantageous if PONOS did not make every single cat be available in the online system at first. They could start with, let's say, like 30 and slowly develop and modify other cats and incorporate them into the online system. Now, of course, balancing would be a problem, so to start off, PONOS only needs to select a certain number of pre-existing units to add, maybe like the simpler units to make it easier to balance. And slowly but surely, they can add more over time. They could also add custom units just for online, similar to PC mode. Of course, what's a rank system without rewards? I'm looking at you, Valorant. Each rank system could last a set of period, for example like a month, where players earn exclusive rewards depending on their ranks, such as unique cat skins, and we'll talk about that in another video. Special titles and frames, like imagine your title like Eternal Cat Emperor on your Battle Cats profile. And of course XP and cat food, just generic stuff, maybe cat tickets as well, stuff like that. Of course, as the rank system progresses, they can add more features to make it even more interesting. Like imagine showing off your skins or something like that on your profile picture. Now, of course, ranked would be hard to balance. Actually, online in general would be hard to balance. So here's some ideas that they can do to balance it out. So regular updates, so periodically adjust unit stats such as health, damage, and energy costs to ensure that no unit is too powerful or too weak. Now this could be a little problematic as you don't want to modify the units too much just to change the purpose of the unit. Like you don't want Wildcat to become a nuker. There's trait synergy balance. No trait should be universally dominant. Anti-red, flying, and alien should have counters and have strengths and weaknesses. Traits should remain situational, kind of like a huge game of rock paper scissors. And unit diversity. Encourage players to use a variety of units rather than just one or two meta choices. For example, if anti-reds are overpowered, add more viable counters like traitless or floating that can counter them more effectively. And level caps and scaling to prevent players from steamrolling their opponents with over-leveled units. A level cap can be set in ranked matches, or level scaling can be applied so that unit levels matter less in PvP matches. For example, a player with higher level units can place tougher opponents to balance things out, similar to Clash Royale. Maybe put more effort into cat combos to make sort of like decks a thing, you know, in Clash Royale where they have decks like Colon Beatdown. Maybe a deck could be like Cool Japan Beatdown, something like that, you know? Now, all these features could really propel Battle Cats into becoming a really, really popular game. I mean, don't get me wrong, Battle Cats is far from an underground game, but it isn't exactly breaking the top 10 in mobile game status. Just imagine the possibilities. Right up there with Brawl Stars, Clash Royale, Free Fire, we have Battle Cats. And when you think about it, most popular games, especially mobile ones, have some sort of online interaction. Think about how much new content can be added just because of online presence. Now, I know online would definitely take a lot of development, but honestly, I think that waiting 6 months of no Battle Cats update, or at least a significant one, just to get a small online update, I think that would be much better than the other updates, in my opinion. I really do think that an online system for Battle Cats could really push this game into something more. Now, I know online systems historically have been riddled with problems, so it's important not to center the entire content of Battle Cats around online. Online should be recommended, not almost mandatory like in other games like Valorant. I think it should be possible for any player to go through and beat the story mode without touching online. I think Battle Cats should keep that casual, fun, simple, mobile game thing that they do so well. At the same time, online could push battle cats to new horizons. I've just briefly covered some things that could come in ranked, but there's so much more that could be had if PONOS really put their mind to it. Like, I'll be honest, I don't think most players are committed to battle cats as they would be committed to games with competitive aspects like Fortnite or Valorant. And while I think that's kind of a good thing, battle cats is non-committal and casual, it'd be so cool if there's a competitive aspect, or, you know, just something more. Imagine if there are battle cats tournaments, top players, something along those lines. Now, I'm not saying this should definitively be the future of battle cats, but it is certainly a great possibility. So PONOS, if you're watching this and you decide to incorporate online system in the game, can you credit me a little bit? Maybe add a rapid tomato can or whatever? Who knows? Anyways. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know recently I've been going a little off track. I made a Clash Royale video, I made a Bloons video. I'm just trying to get a little more experimental with my videos and really spread my audience a little further. If you want to check out those videos, just go to my channel, you'll be able to find them. And if you watch this far, that means you're improving my watch time percentage, which means more people like you will get this video shared to them, and maybe they'll enjoy it too. My next video is going to be a pretty cool one. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a collaboration with Mr. Cat, so look out for that one. But other than that, have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.